Hey guys, it's Vicky again. I'm here at Social Enterprise UK in London. I'm here to meet Lily Chong, who is the founder of the Fourth Sector, and she runs a Startup Stay Up Social Enterprise Conference. And we're going to have a conversation with Peter Holbrook, who is the CEO of Social Enterprise UK. This is where it all happens if you want to become the next big social entrepreneur. This is Peter Holbrook, the CEO of Social Enterprise UK, and this is where we're at now. And this lovely lady in front of me is Lily Chong, who is the founder of Social Enterprise Conference here in the UK. Thank you guys. It's been pretty intense conversation already, so you're just jumping in. So Peter, going back to the businesses that you started, what's the difference between entrepreneurship and social entrepreneurship?
I think business has traditionally been used as a means to build wealth, and normally for individuals, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. But actually there is, I think, far more value in doing something that doesn't only reward yourself, but creates a positive impact for those people around you. And so social entrepreneurship is using the tools of business and entrepreneurial spirit to make a difference in your neighbourhood, your community, the world. Why not the world? I mean, the world needs it, right? And so using business and enterprise and for the good of humanity is like the greatest gift. Yeah,
exactly. And so can you just tell us a little bit about your experience so far and some of the stuff that you're doing now? Because for me, I'm always consistently challenged why social enterprise should be kind of at the center, at the forefront of business. Why should I go in to start a business with change in mind? You know, is it going to make me money? Is it going to give me opportunities? I want to travel. I want to do all these different things. Give us an idea of some of the experiences that you have and throughout your career, really.
Well, I've worked in the private sector and I've worked in the charity sector, and I've never been as happy as when I've worked in the social enterprise sector, partly because I love being entrepreneurial. I'm a risk taker, I like to see opportunities and do stuff, but secondly I feel so much better about taking money from the businesses that I run when I know that I'm helping other people in my community, my neighbourhood, to transform their lives, and it's just the best feeling in the world. Money actually doesn't bring you happiness, and I know a lot of people out there will say, no, it does, it does, it does. It can certainly make life easier, but actually to get that sense of personal fulfilment in a very complicated world where we are completely, every day thrust in our faces poverty, refugee crisis, climate change, conflict, war, terrorism. It's like, do you feel helpless? I don't, actually, because I know that through the work that I do, I am making an impact on all of those agendas. And actually, this is a world where we will be threatened by all of those challenges more and more and more. And we know we can't look to government to do anything, right? They can do something, but they're not going to do it all. So actually turning this into a mass participation sport where everyone can play their part in solving the world's problems, I think is amazing.
And it is. Most people, like we were just saying before the camera turned on, there's so many opportunities, there's corporates, there's governments, they're begging now to kind of know what this social enterprise space is. And so there is opportunity now coming up hugely when it comes to money, opportunities and ambition. Like, give us some insights on what's happening.
Well, what you've seen is a kind of start-up social entrepreneurs, almost because of what they're doing, because of their commitment and their ideas about how to change the world, be catapulted from being tiny businesses to being kind of global superstars, because when you're trying to do something positive in the world, it's amazing how much goodwill you can attract. Right? You must know this.
Yeah, and I think I totally agree with what Peter was saying about also spend time in corporate charity, but this is the space where you actually feel very energized and positive about doing something, because you are enabling a huge kind of problem solving in the world.
So give us some of your background, Lily. Where did you start?
I've been in corporate for the past 14 years, and I've been commercial director, sales director for like a media publishing company, events company, hence the conference here. And then I did a bit of work with a charity because I wanted to career change, but then social enterprise, I came across social enterprise, and that's kind of the business and the doing good bit, it really matches. And I think the whole being entrepreneurism, I think that's, I think I think with charities, I think you can't take the actions as quickly as you want and see that change happen quicker. In a social enterprise, you can make those changes quicker and work with people a lot quickly. And I think, if you get that satisfaction because you know you can have some sort of impact. And I think that is the space I enjoy too.
Yeah, and I was just going to also say that, it's not just the right thing to do, but it's a really advantageous way to set up your business in today's world. Because everyone is talking about shared value. Businesses can't just be there to make profit. They have a wider responsibility to staff, whether it's abolishing 0-hour contracts or paying people fairly, whether it's being a good employer. You can do all this stuff much more easily in a social business. And secondly, you get goodwill. When people know that you're trying to do this not just for yourself, but for the good of other people rally around you. They want to invest in you. You get corporates coming to buy from you. You get investors that say, we want to invest in you because we love your vision. Not because you're going to make loads of money out of this, but because you're going to do well and you're going to do good. And so you get pro bono stuff, conference facilities, you get the opportunity to...
Get some free stuff.
It's amazing, it's amazing. Celebrities are flocking in this space.
Exactly.
I mean, everyone.
It's a serious opportunity, and I keep saying this, it's 150 world leaders signed the climate agreement, or the UN Sustainability Development Goals. That means business is at the front line. They're holding the fires at business to give something back to the world. It's so key in your ambition. It's changing the game. It's changing the game.
And the more social you are, the more environmental you are, the more you'll be rewarded.
Exactly, the more money, the opportunities, and because businesses big corporates don't know this field. They're looking to now us to say, okay, how do we do this?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we're here in this building, supported by one of the big accountancy firms, PwC, that's investing in social enterprise, not just using its CSR, but using its intellect, its accountancy practices to really drive progress. And you can see the same around all the major corporations. People like Unilever are after graduates, young people to join their businesses that have that shared vision about how the world can be.
Just to get into the cracks of exactly what a social enterprise is. What is the difference between an ethically, let's say a company that has ethical sourced materials and the company business model that is social enterprise?
Well, social enterprise is a bold thing to do because what it does is, you commit to having a primary social goal. So the reason you exist is to tackle a problem. And you do that using business. An ethical business will try and reduce its impact on the world, whereas a social business will absolutely be committed to making a positive difference in the world. So one's about limiting the negativities of running a business, whereas a social business is about making a complete positive impact. So whether that's bottled water that donates profits to international development and kind of clean water projects, whether that's toiletries and cosmetics made by visually impaired people or disabled people, or whether it's a youth marketing agency that is trying to, build a business so that it can employ and train young people successfully. It's about putting that social mission actually right out there and saying this is why we exist. It's in our DNA. We're not just trying to do things in a slightly better way, we're trying to do things in a radically different way.
And how do you compare social enterprises? This is a question for both of you. In the UK compared to the rest of the world.
Well, we've got the biggest community of social enterprises, and the world looks at the UK and goes, we want to do some of that. So whether you're in Korea, Thailand, Taiwan, Cambodia, East Europe, Vietnam, everyone's coming here and going, how do we replicate some of this, right? So Britain is a global leader in this, which makes a change from being a global leader in cluster bombs, right? So it's a really, really progressive movement here. The environment makes it easy. You can get grants to set up and build your business. Like running any business is tough. I'm not saying running a social business is easy. It's not. But the support that's here is kind of unparalleled with anywhere else in the world. So it makes it easier. You've got the support networks, you've got the financial resources you can draw on. You've got a big kind of corporate customer list that's saying we want to buy from you, which gives you a real head start when you're trying to get a business going. So we could actually, if you're starting a social enterprise, you could really think, okay, I'm going to start in the UK and scale globally.
And I think, UK is leading, the events that we go to, the people that have been to the event, like my previous event, there are international people that come, like, delegates from China will come and sit in the audience and just to find out what is happening in the UK, and I think, you know, people are trying to take that, what they learn here, back to their countries to start. And, you know, we are seeing a lot more there's a lot of international activities like going around.
Yeah.
You know, we've got the British Council also that promotes the social entrepreneurship outside of the UK.
Yeah.
What Peter's doing.
Oxfam are doing it now. I mean, everyone's coming into this space. But also, what I would say is, we've also got a lot to learn from other countries, right?
Okay.
We can't always assume that we're great here in Britain. There is a rapid growth in this sector right across the world, and countries like Asia and Korea are really rapidly developing their kind of agendas in this space, and we're beginning to learn a lot from those countries too. So it's a really collaborative space, and the UK has been leading it, but there's so much to learn from what's going on around the world too.
And I spent some time in Sri Lanka working with some grassroots entrepreneurs, and that at the time, it's basically some of these countries who are developing countries, they're probably just doing it just like when you started your business, you just saw the problem and wanted to do it, so they didn't even really know it's a social enterprise.
Yeah.
But now learning and getting all the frameworks and the international businesses' interest, that is becoming more structured in some countries. So, you know, I think, you know, there's certainly a lot of problems to solve in this world, but, you know, people now getting that information and business and support from other countries to know how to do things. I think, you know, hopefully, you know, I want to see that world where, you know, people are able to kind of sustain, you know, and they have that equality around. So I think there's hopefully...
I think like if you start a social business, whether you succeed or whether you fail, it will still be the best thing you've ever done. Because you learn so much from it. And it is a collaborative space, and you're not all isolated like running your own business and you've got no one to talk to.
And the pressure
it's shared a bit.
It is shared a bit.
It takes the pressure off a little bit, and it means that you can leverage in that goodwill, and whether you succeed or fail. And I set up a social enterprise which really failed. It was trying to get young people to set up a car washing business. And I got them to go up to the shops and get all their equipment, and they started doing it, and they were using scourers, not sponges, and they just
Oh no!
So like you can cock up, but it's all right, right? The world is forgiving if you're trying to do the right thing.
It is very forgiving in this space, actually.
And the other thing that I would say to any young aspiring social entrepreneur is don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness. Get on and do it.
That's a good tip, by the way.
Get on and do it, and then go, oh, sorry, I didn't realise I had to ask permission, rather than go through all the traditional routes of making sure that everyone's on board. You know, an entrepreneur is meant to be a risk taker. You've got to be bold.
You have to fail forward, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, actually, we were at the conference, and a big social impact investors, they said they would not invest in anyone who has not failed. So this is what I'm constantly telling people. It's not, you don't have to be that afraid to start a business, especially in this space, because there's so much support.
Don't be afraid to fail. I mean, learn from failure and don't make the same mistakes again.
Exactly.
But you know, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. And what about guys that don't necessarily want to start a business but just want to be involved? How do you get involved with social entrepreneurship? How do we go into... I'm coming to you, Lily, because Lily is the founder of Fourth Sector, which is a recruitment company that focuses on getting people employed in social enterprises, right? Am I right?
Certainly, one of the reasons I kind of started to be in the social enterprise space, I founded I started a social enterprise meetup group,
right?
And that has about just 600 plus members. And one of the common questions I often get asked is, why you join this group? So, I'm trying to find some work in it, because obviously these are these kind of networking platforms that people want to kind of find out more about it. And it doesn't, I think, it's a very hard question to know. I know that On Purpose is one of the organisations that kind of puts some placements, but they're not a recruitment. There are now one or two recruitment companies building social entrepreneurship, but I guess it all goes to when we're talking about social enterprise businesses, their awareness of their youth's employment in terms of their choice. They're not choosing to work for these big banks or big corporations.
Yeah, because we care about what's happening in the world.
And they want to do something different, but again, I think there's a lot of startups in social enterprise, a lot of small businesses. Again, where do you find those kind of, they don't advertise their jobs, they don't know when. One of the things that we will be touching on in the conference is the whole about staying up and growing. When do you start to employ people? How do you get the work? When do you start to expand? Infrastructure, resources is a big question. So I think, it is I like to open it up, where do, because I believe there are people that all want to start a business.
Yeah.
But certainly there are people that want to use their skills their abilities to have an impact. So I would like to certainly see, and hence the reason why I put in a recruitment platform within the fourth sector is an opportunity, because I'm speaking to entrepreneurs and social businesses. So if I hear about the opportunities, there certainly is a way of connecting them with the right skill sets or the value base. But certainly, Monterey, I think it's a space to kind of certainly explore. I don't know what Peter's opinion is about.
Well, look, there's already 1 million people employed in the social enterprise sector in the UK. That's like 1 in 15 jobs. It's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I would say, Google search, find out where your local social enterprises are.
Get to Lily's conference.
Which is on the
25th of April. Get your tickets, get there and find out what it means to be employed in social enterprise and also starting your own social enterprise.
Yeah.
And Peter will be there too.
I'll be there too.
Yeah.
But in the words of Muhammad Yunus, the Nobel Peace Prize winner from Bangladesh, he said, be a job creator. Don't always think about yourself as being an employee, because there is this notion that starting a business is only for educated people or for people that have got MBAs. Like, actually, immerse yourself in this sector and you can do it. I don't care where you're from, what background you're from. I have seen the most unlikely people start businesses and succeed.
Take away. So also, I think, just to mention, I guess also SEUK's got that site with their directories.
Yeah, bisocialdirectory.org, which lists 13,000 social businesses around the country. You can find
Social Directory.
bisocialdirectory.org. .uk.
And what can we expect to see from SEUK?
Well, what we are trying to do is take this agenda and really build it internationally.
Yeah.
So the Sustainable Development Goals were launched by global leaders and the United Nations last year. Yeah. What we're trying to do is encourage all businesses to sign up to the Sustainable Development Goals. Have a look at the Sustainable Development Goals website. It's run by the UN. Yeah. It paints a really positive vision for the future of the world. We want social enterprises to play a much bigger role in creating that global social justice piece that we need.
Do you think that's really helped also, that positivity around social enterprise, having that?
We are optimists. We have to be optimists, right? In a very bleak world, we have to believe that change can be made by individual citizens, and yes, it's driving change forwards in every part of the world right now. We've seen some incredible stuff happening in Ghana. Some incredible stuff happening right across actually the African subcontinent, across parts of Asia. This is becoming a mainstream solution to just about every problem you can imagine. And I think that there's reasons to be really hopeful, because if you look at the number of new social businesses that are starting every week around the world, and the innovation and the talent and the skill of people, it kind of makes you think, well, maybe the world will be all right.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it, actually. So, in terms of desire, ambition, luxury, success, how does social entrepreneurship, how do you visualize social entrepreneurship and sustainability either engaging that market a bit more so it's attractive, or vice versa?
So on Monday we launched the Bi-Social Corporate Challenge. So we've got a number of businesses, about 8 large businesses, to commit to spending £1 billion through their supply chains with social enterprises by 2020. So a massive opportunity for startups to say, we're providing a service which is a social product, and we can sell that into Johnson & Johnson or Interserve or the construction industry. So you've got a market there ready and waiting. Increasingly, big businesses are recognising they have to become more social. They're taking inspiration from social enterprise. So what's my vision? One day, every business will be a social business.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Lily, have you got anything that you want to wrap up with?
I think I'm very much looking forward to the conference, in just over a week's time, just to really hear all the insights and opportunities, and really, for people to really get the inspiration to really, get the information. I think knowledge is key, so it enables people to do things, to know who their networks are and the support where they can get it, to really, don't get overwhelmed and really just go out there and start doing something, and and to create the change they want to see.
And what would be the best outcome for you for that for the conference and the future of social enterprises?
Yeah, I think I like to see the work. My vision is a bit like Peter's, is that businesses will change the world we do things, the way we change it. The conference itself, if we can help that one individual just to go out from an idea stage to start taking a step forward to implementing what their ideas were, and then just to start, that will be a result. You know, that one piece of knowledge.
Thank you so much. Well, guys, you've heard it from the best in the game. Don't be left behind, because it looks like the world is changing, so we need you guys.
Come and join us.
Yeah. And what would be your shout out to shout out UK and everyone watching?
I'd say, look, this agenda is being driven by young people. Yeah. It's not being driven by old fogies like me. The world is changing rapidly, and I just think this is such an exciting agenda. It's so full of opportunity for young people. You can shape the world, you can do well, you can become your own boss, and you can succeed in such a fulfilling way. People that work in this sector never leave it, because it is the most exciting, dynamic, fulfilling job you'll ever have.
I had an idea of how huge social entrepreneurship is, but I didn't know that huge businesses are now looking at social enterprises and social entrepreneurs to actually solve the world's problems and be a part of changing the economy. For me, I knew that the UK was a big leader in social entrepreneurship, but now I have a huge understanding that the world is actually looking at the UK and we're at the centre of it. So I'm excited about the future. So stay tuned.